Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live stream. I'm Janrik Oberholzer, and with me today is Justine Moodley, and we are the line managers for the online NSANS programs and the campus programs. Please note you can ask questions in the YouTube chat. We will monitor that, and right at the end of this presentation, we'll field the questions. Right, so let's get started. The online school is currently sitting at around 700 students. The February dates for that, with the campus being about 200 students across the various campuses. The online school has August, October, Jan, March startup, and the campus has a August startup only. Then for online, you can do full-time or part-time, and campus can do full-time. Part-time means double the time. So if something will take 1 year for full-time, it will take 2 years for part-time. Before we go through what we teach you, let's go through why we teach you anything. Right, so I've prepared a few slides on careers and the direction that things are going in the future. And if we go through these, you'll see why we teach certain things and why our program has specific courses built into them. So I'm taking it all from the ISACA Career Web studies. And the first one we have to look at is what are the top 5 security skills that companies want this year and into the future. And the number 1 is cloud computing. And after that is data protection, identity management, incident response. I'm not going to read them all out, but as you can see, there's quite a lot of them are directly related to security and anti-hacking and securing your data. What are the biggest skill gaps amongst graduates? This is something we look at often to make sure that we know what to teach students when they come to us. And according to Big Business, the biggest skill gap is soft skills. So that's your communication, your flexibility, and your leadership. After that, it's security controls. So network, endpoint, and application security. And then network operations, how to configure and secure a network. And then we go down to system hardening and all those things. Keep this in mind, because later on when we go through the courses, you'll see a correlation between this and what we teach you. And what is the future looking like for hiring people? Well, the biggest demand at the moment is for security contractors. So they want an expert to come in. They want you to be able to do an assessment and then secure or advise them. Second highest demand is individual contractors for the non-technical cybersecurity space. That would be people documenting what the contractor or the technical specialist is finding and assisting with all of that, or maybe even training your staff. And then your security managers are third in the list. Right. When companies were asked on how would you describe the staffing for your cybersecurity team at the moment, almost half of them said that they were a bit understaffed, which is great. It means there's a big job market out there for security specialists. Only 15% reckoned that they were properly staffed, and about 30% or so thought that they were definitely well staffed. Why do people leave their cybersecurity careers? Well, number 1 reason, nearly 60%, is they are being recruited by other companies. So it's not for lack of jobs, it's there is so many job offerings out there, they will go to the best hire. And that, if you see, look at the second result there, because the other people may be paying more. So if you're not being valued in your current company and you upskill and they still don't value you, there are jobs out there for people that are experts in cybersecurity. Okay, so we've gone through what you might look like in the future and what the careers would be like and what do people want in the career. What does the courses look like? What do we teach you? Well, just to get some clarity, we interchangeably call them NIS usually, sometimes NSA. Now, NSA is a 1-year standalone professional degree course that you will do. It takes 12 months, and it's 24 months, obviously, for part-time. And then NIS is the 2nd year, but you cannot do NIS without NSA. So you have to do NSA first, pass it, then you do NIS, pass it, then you will get the higher professional degree. This is the same for online and for campus. The only difference is campus don't have the part-time slots. And I need to mention adaptive education. What is this? It means that we, well, specifically our program manager and me and Justine and other line managers meet with industry peers and partners in Norway and surrounds. And we ask them to look at what we teach you. We look at how we teach you and ask them for advice or recommendations, or what do they want to see new hires know when they step into the marketplace. This is very valuable because this shapes the way that we approach what we teach students, the content we develop, the courses we develop. We are really good with this. And so far, most of the companies in Norway are extremely happy with the level of student that we deliver. Okay, so let's go through the network and system administration course. This is the 12-month course to start off with. There are several subjects you will have to cover. Some of them will be 4 weeks, some of them will be 6 weeks, a few of them are 5 weeks, and they are IT foundations, operating and file systems, network infrastructure, Linux, Microsoft server technologies, cloud computing foundations, and introduction to information security. Now, if you think back to the slides where we showed you what companies want, keep in mind now when we show you what these things cover. Right, so IT foundations, we start off with a very basic introduction to what is information technology and what is information security. Then we cover your soft skills, communication, empathy, leadership, flexibility, those things. Then we look at hardware and software basics, because not everybody is on the same technical level when they join us, and we want to make sure everybody's at the same level before we move into the more complex tasks. We do an introduction to virtualization as well as cloud. We discuss and cover archiving and backups and storage. We then also look at study techniques, because quite a few of our students are maybe rusty, haven't studied for a while, how to get back into the habit. We covered problem solving, project management, report writing, and IT literacy, which covers mostly research and referencing. It's very important to be able to look up things, write about it, and correctly reference them. Then the course after that is the operating and file systems course. This will be an introduction to operating systems and file systems. We cover elements such as the kernel, the drivers, the CPU and memory. We also look at storage, file systems, basic networking. We do a deep dive into virtualization, and we do a basic course on Microsoft Windows, Linux, how to navigate them in the GUI or command line, and then also how to troubleshoot issues you would get. But this is a very important skill for IT person to have, is troubleshooting. Then the course after that is the network infrastructure course, and this is CCNA equivalent, meaning if you take the course with us, you can go to Noroff and get a discount to write the certification to earn your CCNA certificate. This is really helpful because a lot of companies are looking for specific certs. CCNA is one of them. During the networking course, we will cover the fundamentals, trends, technology and security, protocols, the network model, data and the physical layer, switches, network layering, routing. We cover IPv4 and IPv6. We do a dive into subnetting. We look at the ACLs, VLANs, and configuration and planning. Then after that, we step you into Linux. And it's a basic introduction to Linux that ramps up in difficulty as we go through the course over 4 weeks. So we start off with the day-to-day Linux, then we look at administration basics, and eventually system administration basics and hardening. How do you make an OS even more secure? After that, we dive into Microsoft server technologies, where we cover the basics like users, domains, and file sharing, but also rights, sites, and services. We look at the role of DNS and how to set it up, DHCP and how to set it up, group policies, how to deploy them, how to create them, IIS, Hyper-V, and of course, the very important backup systems. If you've survived Microsoft, we dive into cloud computing foundations, which is again AZ900 equivalent. So you can take the AZ900 certification after you've completed this via Noroff, and as a student, you will get a discount on that. We cover the core components. We cover the Internet of Things, monitoring, security, resources planning strategies, and privacy. And nice thing here is that we work closely with Microsoft with this. So as they change their course, we change ours to adapt. and mimic what they teach. We've got full cooperation with them. Then second to last in your first year, we will cover introduction to information security. This is probably the favorite from most students in the first year. We cover social engineering, malware, cryptology, securing data, exploitation, cookies, and pen testing. So this is where it becomes more cybersecurity focused, and you learn about, red hat, blue hat, and white hat, and black hat hackers. How does it all work? How do you secure your data? How do people use social engineering to get into the data of another business? Very fun stuff. Most of our students really, really love this course. And then at the end, you will have an exam project, which is 4 weeks for full-time and 8 weeks for part-time. There will be a list of projects you can pick from that are based on all the courses from this year that you've just gone through, or you can talk to the mentor and we can customize a project for you, and then you will deliver that as a formal report. Now that sounds scary, don't worry. You'll learn all about formal reports in ITF in the 3rd or 4th week, so you will be well equipped to handle this. Then, if you move into the second year, we look at network and IT security, and we start off with security and law, then we move into cyber ops, followed by cloud security, then we look at programming and databases, ethical hacking, and computer forensics. And again, it will end with an exam project. So security and law, we cover the basics of what are laws. We obviously do a very deep dive into GDPR, because that's a very important thing to keep in mind in Europe. Why do we need laws? The ethics of it, codes of conduct, security policies, cyber crime, cyber warfare, that kind of things. The laws governing what you can do, what you can't do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Then after that, we look at cyber ops, and we go through the concepts of cyber ops. What is defense in depth? We teach you tricks and techniques. We give you tools. We go through the Security Operations Center and the concept behind it, the governance of cyber operations, incident and incident response. This is quite an intense course because it covers a lot of ground, but I believe it's a vital course for most security experts out there to get the basics right here. Then after that, we do cloud security. And again, we work with Microsoft on this one. So this is AZ 500 equivalent. So you can go and write the exam for this and get a certification at the AZ 500 level. We cover Azure AD, governance, security, operations, and planning. And then we step into programming. This is a 7-week course. It's one of the longest one we have. We teach Python. We do the basics and we get the setup ready in the first week. Then we move into data structures, decision-making functions. We cover stuff like files, objects, and reporting modules. Then we teach you how to use APIs, how to do image hashing, how to do network scanning, how would you do a DDoS attack, and how to do SNMP snooping and securing it. And then obviously, very importantly, how to document and version control anything you do in programming. Then after that, we step into databases and we teach SQL. You'll go over this setup and design, the very basics of it, then how to do scripts, how to create filters, how to manipulate data, how to group data, and how does Python and SQL, how do they work together, how you can integrate them, and how does user administration play a role. After that, we get into ethical hacking. This is kind of a follow-up on the first year course for information security. We go over the grounds of red, white, and black hats. What kind of hackers do you get? What tools do they use? How do they use them? How can you test a system? How can you do, what information can you extract after an attack? And how to do a pen test at the organization, which is kind of a big one because companies often hire professionals to say, come and see if we're vulnerable, work within the following boundaries and do a penetrative test to see if we can improve our security or not. This is also a favorite from students. After that, we do some CSI stuff, computer forensics. We go over the tools and the concepts of forensics, how to gather evidence, how to secure the evidence that you've gathered, how to present the evidence you've gathered. Remember, this could end up in court. So you will have to be very, very careful to maintain the chain of custody, how to report it correctly, how to explain all the IT terms to a lawyer so he can present it in court. This is a very intense course, but also a lot of fun. And then you go into your exam project, which is a 6-week project, because this will cover the first and second year. And again, it will be a formal report based on a selection of projects that you can pick that allows you to customize it to a degree and then hand in the report for us to grade. Right, so is this for you? If you're curious about IT security, then this is definitely for you. If you need to upskill for work, this is also definitely for you. And if you have a very strong work ethic and willpower and you're goal orientated, especially if you're an online student, then this is definitely for you. Classrooms, you will have a physical classroom to attend, to sit down, you have a lecturer to talk to. If you're an online student, you only have us, the online team, and the systems we present to you to work through. So you will have to have a strong willpower and be very goal orientated. So how does it all work? Well, the online part is asynchronous. Obviously, the campus part is synchronous, so in real time. What does that mean? It means we create lesson content and tasks for you. We then record lecture and instructional videos for you that you can work through. And we will give you resources and quizzes and ways to test your knowledge. You can feed back what you've learned to us. And then at the end of it, we will assess your knowledge. So for example, this is the operating and file systems course on the right hand there. You will start on like the welcome video. You'll move your way through the lessons. You will watch the videos. You will see if there's extra resources available. Then at the end of the week, you will do the quiz. You'll see how you scored. If you see you've done poorly, this quiz doesn't go towards your grade, and you can take it as many times as you like. So it's a nice learning tool. You can go back into the content and, I know how this works. Go and read up on it, try the quiz again. To make things fun, the quizzes are not the same every time you take them. They will randomly change the questions based on the content that you've worked through. So it never gets dull. And then while you're doing all of this, you can chat to your classroom and your teachers on Teams. We are there every day of the week, Monday to Thursday, ready to chat and help each other out. We've got a very nice community of students that are always happy to help everybody else out. The more senior students love talking to the more junior students to help them troubleshoot. Right, so this is an example of a lesson in the ITF course. As you can see, we're covering soft skills here. It'll be in this format where you can read it in your browser. You can click through it. Some of them will have built-in quizzes that you need to solve before continuing. And they will also have tasks available that you can then complete and present to your class or your teacher in our chat environment for discussion or comments. This is what the videos would look like. If you go to the video page, if you click on any of those, they will take you to YouTube or Vimeo, and you'll have your lecturer talk to you. And then this is an example of a quiz. This is a very basic one. It's multiple choice. It's self-grading. You get 15 minutes to answer 10 questions. If you've done, you get 10 out of 10. You want to do it again, you can try it again. You probably won't get the same 10 questions again. So it's a nice way to study. And then this is an example what the final exam format would look like. This is covering SMART, which is something you will learn about in ITF. We will give you a scenario, and then we will test your knowledge of that implementation. So we might not ask you directly what does SMART stand for, but we will ask you to explain what SMART is, and then how would you use it to solve a problem like the one that we give you in the scenario. Right, so that's my bit. But before we get to the Q&A, there's the document that I referenced in the beginning can be found at this site. We'll make it available, I think, in the YouTube chat if we can, so you guys can read up on all that. Right, are there any questions? Justine, any questions? Nobody?
I think maybe I should just mention the campus model.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so as Janrik mentioned, the campus model, we have an August startup. So our August startup is from August right up until June. And we actually have physical classes on campus. We have 3 campuses throughout Norway. We have Oslo, Stavanger, and Bergen. If you are looking at or closer to any of those cities, we have. And the NSI and NIS program is offered at all 3 campuses. So yeah, we have lecturers that will lecture the content, and we also have some guidance sessions. So you also have the opportunity, if you, for instance, if you need some personal one-on-one with your teacher, or if you need someone just to explain a little bit more to you, we do offer those sessions after class. So yes, the campus experience is more interactive, and you do get to meet with like your class and your teacher on a daily basis. But we do follow the same study structure as online. So we have the same courses, same exams, and everything the same. Yeah.
Okay, there's some questions here. So are there any requirements for prior knowledge? Ideally, you need to know what a computer is, but we do start it off very entry level and then build up on that, because we do realize that everybody's had the same exposure to IT as everybody else. So the ITF course and the OFS course, for example, is a little bit slower paced than, say, the Microsoft or Linux course once you've learned the basics. So I don't think any prior knowledge is really a requirement, other than, you would need, to know what a computer is and have a vague concept of what IT security is. Then would we need personal hardware? Yes. For campus, I believe there are student labs they can visit. Yeah.
So on campus, we have Windows PCs that are equipped with everything that you need. So when you are on campus and you are in class during guidance session, and even for your exams, those PCs are available for you. And Janrik, I also think that the especially for online, the hardware requirements are on our website under the course. Yeah.
Yeah, you would need your own workstation or laptop. The spec isn't insane. Anything that can run a virtual environment is good. So any modern i5, i7, or AMD is fine. 16 gigs of RAM is usually enough, and a fastish hard drive, which everything has these days anyway. So yeah, you would need some level of personal hardware to study with if you do it online. It needs to support virtualization and ideally be Linux or Windows 10 Professional or 11 Professional. The Home Edition doesn't have all the features we always want. Then how easy to get a job after completing the program? We have an amazingly high ratio of students finding employment, even during their studies. Most of the students that I speak to daily on our chat programs already have job offers or are starting to work in some way with companies even before they finish their studies, which is remarkable. We have a lot of very good success stories as well. The students kind of create their own employment out there. They go to communities, they go to old age homes, retirement villages, they speak to the administrators there. So we can teach people like the elderly who might not know much about computing on how to secure themselves. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity. So yeah, employment out there is really good for Noroff students to complete the courses. Well, if you have no knowledge of IT, I think you'll be okay. You might need to work a little harder than maybe somebody who knows everything. It'll be, the first 2 or 3 courses might be a little bit harder until you've caught up. Because some of our students are IT professionals that just want the paperwork. So for them, it's very easy in the beginning. But there's no real prior knowledge requirement. We teach you everything you need to know. As long as you can read and comprehend what we're saying and follow along, you'll be fine. If you have Windows 10 Home, would you need to upgrade to Windows 10 Pro? Yes, specifically for the Microsoft security or the Microsoft server course. The only reason there is Hyper-V. When we teach you about Hyper-V, sometimes Windows Home don't always play together nicely. There's ways to make it work, but it's not official ways. So yes, for studies, I would recommend Professional over Home. No, Windows 10, Sandra is asking, Windows Home doesn't come with virtualization technology. It does work fine with VMware Workstation and VirtualBox. The issue does lie with Hyper-V though, so that's correct. So Windows 10 Professional is the better option. Sure, Bjorn. I will link you on Discord or Teams. I'll find you there. Basically, or if you go onto our Moodle, if you want to get your CCNA certification after you do Net, what you can do there is you can go to the Moodle, go to the information glossary, and look under certification, and there'll be a link.
Can I just quickly come in there?
Yeah.
Sorry, on campus at the moment, today, actually, some of our students that have completed Net in Bergen are busy writing the CCNA certification. So for campus studies, through Accelerate, which is our other school, that they do offer that. So probably online as well, you can do that certification as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I will, for the online students, I will link again, do a post on Teams and Discord. There's also, if you go to the Net module on Moodle, there'll be a link that'll take you to how to register for the CCNA. And if you're a Noroff student, you will get a 25% discount. Sorry, Sandra, I don't have access to that exact chat. So I'll have to get back to you at the end. I can't share the link into the YouTube chat directly during the live cast. Maybe we can ask one of the administrators to help with that.
So there's another question. Hi, I'm a first-year student for online course. What about books? Should I buy it now? And what kind of books do I need? So we do have like books that we recommend that you read or that you can follow throughout the course. But most of our content is available on our learning management system, which is Moodle. And all the content that you need will be on there. So if you follow just the content that on there, you should be fine, but also on our Moodle pages where there are some books that we recommend. So we also have access to, Janrik, and you can help me as well, LinkedIn Learning, and our own little library that you can also access. So yes.
Yeah, Noroff students, the moment you sign up, you get full access to LinkedIn Learning as well, which is vast. There's amazing stuff out there. So that's a nice perk. One other big perk is that you will get VMware Workstation Pro free with us, or VMware Fusion if you're on Mac Pro, which costs quite a lot of money. So it's a very nice perk to, actually, I think you get all the VMware stuff, but I mean, we use those two, and we will teach you how to redeem the license and show you the way. So that's also a very nice perk for our students.
Another question here, would you personally recommend campus full-time or online part-time? So that is up to you as a student. For campus, if you prefer learning, so like learn by doing, where you have a teacher teaching you and showing you, then campus is your way. If you are very independent, and especially if you are working, then we also online would then suit you better, because then you can study, you can like manage your own studies. But campus, there are set times for lectures, set times for guidance, which does become a little bit difficult if you are a worker.
Yeah, just to add to that, online is more flexible because we have a start date for each course and then an assessment period. There's a few dates that you can pick from when you want to write the exam at the end of the course. In between, we would like you to keep pace with the rest of the class and with us, especially if you're a full-time student, because it makes it easier for you to collaborate with your other students and talk to your teachers. Everybody's on the same page. But if you're a part-time student and you're somewhere in the deep north or working on an oil rig or whatever, obviously your time management becomes a problem. Then you can work at your own pace. The only dates that are set in stone is the start dates of programs and the assessment dates. And then there's a question from Nordic saying he got accepted in the course yesterday. Nice. Is there a team? You will get on that all that information next week when they send you an email with your student account details, what link to click, all of that. So don't worry, you'll get all the data probably Tuesday next week. We'll be invited to our teams. And that's it. Thanks, everyone. This was surreal. We enjoyed it. And yeah, we hope to see you all online very soon. And for the ones, I don't know, I'm hoping the guys shared the bootcamp information for CCNA1. We will, I will also share it on our platforms just to make sure that everybody gets the information.
Good luck with your studies further. And like Janrik said, we hope to see you either on campus or online soon. And if you have any questions, just reach out and we will be able to answer them. Okay. Thanks, everyone.